Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Man, my apologies. I'm in the motherland right now. We having some technical difficulties. How you feeling?
I'm blessed.
Okay, man. First and foremost, it's definitely an honor to have you on the platform. It's pre-recorded, so I'm gonna be able to edit it up. For the
Okay.
viewers who may not recognize you, let them know who you are and definitely where you're from.
My name is SupaNova Slom. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a recording artist, a best-selling author. I run a wellness supplement company and a men's rites of passage program. I'm also a
Right,
combat
right.
veteran and a vegan bodybuilder.
Right, man. I was checking out your bio, man. You offer so much to the community, to hip hop. I see you even got the name, the hip hop medicine man. Is that a name that you gave to yourself, or is that something that the community has given you?
That's the name that Busta Rhymes gave to me because I was traveling on the road with Erykah Badu in '97 when she did Baduism, and I was her male doula. I was the one that's providing holistic wellness medicine to her Andre 3000 when she was pregnant with seven. So we were on tour with Busta Rhymes at the time, and I would always make juices, fresh juices and green juices for Erica, and then anybody that was around, I would definitely be making sure they get their wellness. And this is in the '90s. So every time I would see him in Spliff, I would run up on him and give them their greens. And he said, "Man, you making me drink this, man? You like hip hop's medicine, man." And it stuck. It stuck, didn't fall off, and I've been continuing that work ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you mentioned some giants, Busta Rhymes, Erykah Badu. Um, Man, how do you even get in, the circles of those type of people? Where does this journey begin for you, the health and wellness?
Uh, okay, that's a two street question. I mean, which one you want me to answer? Where did the journey begin in health and wellness? The circles of the celebrities? I'm not sure how you want me to answer.
Right. I mean, because man, you blew me away with that. How did you even get into health and wellness? Because a lot of us, our people, we kind of get into it later in life, maybe in our teenage years, college years, adult. When did you actually get started with it?
From birth, from the womb. I've been born and raised vegan all my life, from the womb of Queen Afua, for those that don't know. So there you have it.
Wow, that's powerful. Another queen. Big shout out to the queen for instilling that in you at an early age, and now you got a platform and you able to reach, not only celebrities but regular people. You know what I'm saying, and inspire them to become healthy. Now,
Absolutely.
okay, right, most definitely. So going into the next question, how did you even get into hip hop and get into meeting artists and stuff like that?
Um, when I was 12, I believe it was 12 and 8. I was 12 and 88, I believe. I was always into the arts. Before 12 years old, I played piano, guitar, and sang, and was a singer. But I was into hip hop early on. Being from New York, I was into breakdancing a lot and graffiti writing. But I didn't start rhyming intentionally until around '88. My mother, Queen Afua, had a client by the name of Stevie Wonder, who stayed at our family's house for 7 days. She was helping to heal him and get him correct and on point. He just had, at that point, '88, he just released this album called Skeletons, powerful album. And then he was staying with us, and then he asked me who were some of my favorite artists. At the time, I'm young, I'm still into, '88, still Prince and Michael Jackson was definitely influential, especially me being a young musician. But I was also into hip hops, and I remember telling him, I love Big Daddy Kane, I love EPMD and uh, Public Enemy, right? So I was 12, so he had his security guard go to the Wiz, I believe, or Sam Goody, one of them old school spots or maybe even Tower Records, one of them old school big, music stores back in the day. And then he came back and I was the first kid in my age in the hood that had a portable CD player. He bought me a portable CD player. He bought one for me, my mom, and my sister, and he bought us a CD deck, like a whole system. And he bought my mom all of these dope jazz things. He bought me every single Prince album there ever was on CD to that point in '88. And then he bought me, then my first CDs, rap CDs, was what I told him. It was Kumo D, How You Like Me Now. It was Taste the Nation of Millions, So Hold Us Back, Public Enemy. It was EPMD, Strictly Business, Big Daddy Kane, Long Live the Kane. I think it was maybe one other, but I'm not really sure right now. But those were so that was my first, besides just being a kid, hearing the radio and just knowing, being in the culture, being from New York, I'm in ground zero of hip hop. Everything that is hip hop culture. I mean, I was raised in it, so it's kind of normal for us if you're a kid in the '80s in New York. It's in Brooklyn specifically. It's really part of who you are. But I think when I had CDs, carrying that, at that point I just had tapes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I had little mixtapes, but I never really had a rap album, I would say. But having the CDs, playing them every single day, you're 12 years old, you're sharing with your friends, and really, getting into it, it just woke something up in me, like the poet in me, the lyricist in me woke up. And I just started writing my little raps, wasn't really taking it too serious, but just to start writing it together. Me and one of my childhood friends started writing raps together, because he liked some of the artists that I like, and we just started just writing together and stuff, going back and forth like a little duo. My cousin, Unify the God of Sound, who's actually one of my primary producers for a lot of my projects. At the time, he was he was part of something called the Black Rock Coalition. Okay, that was pretty much founded by I think Brother Greg Tate and a few other. The brother from the black rock group called Living Color. Like at that time, they just came out. Like so about '89, I would say this. Now we're in '89, and so they formed the Black Rock Coalition because Living Color now was the first black rock group in history to go multi-platinum like that. With this breakout song called Cult of Personality. We had Fishbone from the West Coast, one of my favorite, sky black rock punk groups. They were really big in the underground and respected in the mainstream, but they didn't really break out commercially. So when Living Color broke out commercially, it put a wave in the whole black rock and live band thing, And so I remember going to my cousin's rehearsals, you know what I'm saying, and just being exposed to places like CBGB's, which is a historical place in the village in New York, where a lot of not only hip hop artists, but like rockers and punk folks, blew up just really in that culture. And so my cousin would let me open up, in the set, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, at this point, maybe 12 or 13, it's my first time rapping to an audience at the historical CBGB's, And so I was doing that every time and I had so much energy and I was so animated, like they just put me in a set. But then, I'm like 12, 13-year-old mosh pitting, jumping off the stage. So I kind of had a hybrid experience in the arts as far as already being a musician, becoming a young rapper, and then playing with a live band at 13 years old at CBGB's. You know what I'm saying? So I broke out early on, they say honing your craft, and getting into the art. So, at a very early age, I just, was into that element, you know what I mean? And so, my rap discography started to build as far as just the artists that I loved and appreciated at the time. Some of my favorites from let's say from 89 to let's say 93, everybody that was popping in, I just was everything hip hop, Organized Confusion, all of the native tongues, which has like 10 groups in them, just all the big guys. West Coast, we have Freestyle Fellowship. I know everybody wants to say NWA, who I love, but Freestyle Fellowship because they had every element in their flows and in their dexterity. Okay, like a lot of what Mike and I was doing rhythmically. You can find the seeds in what Bone Thugs became the year after. So my They had an album out in '91, which I didn't know about at the time. My first album that I got from Freestyle Fellowship was Inner City Gyrates. So I'm saying this specifically because a lot of this influenced my style and my way to be diverse as an MC. In New York, it was very competitive, even on the underground. You had to stand out, and so I just the diversity, having being able to diversify. Like if I was the beats, no matter what the beat was, I never rapped the same on every beat. You know what I'm saying? It's more like very intuitive to me, and I got a lot of that from Freestyle Fellowship. They were very intuitive on their approach as MCs. Busta Rhymes is one of my favorites. Like I said, Bone Thugs. Later on, Twister. So you can see where my style's going, right? You know, very rapid fire, very animated. But I love the spitters too. You know, Big L, Nas, Jay Z. You know, I could do that basic. You know, I call it not really basic, disrespectfully, but you know, just that New York swag. You know, Wu Tang. You know, that whole New York swag thing that is popularized now by like Griselda. You know, that type of flow. So that was like the and Boot Camp Click, right? So that was if he wasn't really animated and doing the austerity like Freestyle Fellowship and Busta Rhymes and Twister, you were kind of in that pocket, the Wu Tang, Boot Camp, Jay Z pocket, right? So anyway, growing up in Brooklyn, New York, you get all exposed to all of that, right? So that's pretty much right. And then, like I said, I was in the punk rock scene at the same time. I'm in the street scene, but then I'm also in the punk rock scene. And so that kind of informed a lot of my earlier stuff, writings and recordings and stuff.